Okay, thank you, Jose. I want to make a quick overview of our plans for 2021. And before I do this, I just want to remind that we have a team blog. You can find it on DirectExpress.com blogs. Here we post our development news, some tips and tricks. So if you want to stay up to date and learn new things, so you are welcome to check it from time to time. Okay, let's start from our roadmap. As many of you expected, we continue evolution of our Blazor UI. Last October, we have released the first version ready for production in simple scenarios, and we keep improving it further. First news is that we in 21.1 release our Blazor assemblies will use .NET 5. This will help us and will also help you as developers to make use of the latest features of this new framework. Also, some core features and some Blazor specific features like JavaScript and CSS isolation. Also, new libraries like for authentication. Also, of course, performance and debugging enhancements, etc. And hopefully later this year we will move the rest XAF assemblies to .NET 5. Okay, for Blazor, we wanted to support more modules, more features to have a feature parity with WinForms and WebForms. In the first place, we will release complete support for localization. It will come even earlier than in 21.1. In 20.2.6, we'll release support for localizations, so you can test it earlier. And later this year, we hope to make it possible for end users to switch languages at runtime. For example, there will be a button from the Lagon form or in somewhere in the main form, as many websites do today. Also, the next minor version will support clone object module for XPO. And also, as you know, Blazor UI supports entity framework. And so we will additionally support audit trail module for entity framework in our next major release. Of course, we will support more typical modules that many of you loved from WinForms and WebForms. For example, our popular module that allows you to edit rich text documents. If you follow our blog, we have recently released an example that shows how to have this feature right now in the current version. This example uses our JavaScript rich text editor. Also, we hope to do the same for our dashboards module. We are also going to use our JavaScript dashboard control for its viewer and designer. And we hope that this dashboard module will cover the majority of data analytics scenarios for the start. Of course, we want to support schedule module, and we already started research in this regard. We hope to use native Blazor schedule control, and we already migrated this cross-platform library DoExpress.express app.schedule. We migrated it to .NET Standard for now. It's also useful for some advanced scenarios, some customers. Next, we hope to support some basic features like action container view item. This, if you forgot, this feature allows you to have actions in detail form, not only in main menu. And this feature will also be available in the next minor release, maybe in a month or so. We also support more property editors based on the most popular customer requests. First of all, we want to enhance our lookup property editor to add buttons like new, open, or allow users to add any custom buttons. We also hope to support built-in editors for time span, color, hyperlinks, and etc. There also will be a bunch of enhancements to grid list editor. Here we depend a lot on Blazor grid control. So please follow its development plans in ASP.NET team blog. Basically, we want to have support for column chooser, summaries, etc. Some of these features can already be implemented manually with controllers. Some cannot be implemented. We also want to improve pop-up window management, so you as developers had more options to control size, position, style, etc. As for chart, period grid, list editors, we think that we will decide on them at the end of this year because, as I noted earlier, dashboards module will support many scenarios. But if you require these features right away, you can already, as you probably know, you can already add them by implementing a custom list editor, a custom view item property editor. So it's the same standard procedure as for WinForms and WebForms. When you have some standard DevExpress or third-party control, be it JavaScript control or native Blazor control, and you can add whatever you need in XAF because it's fully extendable. Last, we want to support state machine model because it's not very popular, but we already have already tests for it, so it's not difficult for us to add its support. And as you probably know, workflow module that relies on Microsoft Windows workflow foundation, it will not be supported because this technology was not migrated to .NET Core and .NET 5 by Microsoft. And we recommend that you implement custom solutions. For example, this interesting module from Expand framework that makes use of Hangfire library. And we hope to release our support for entity framework in Blazor UI in 21.1. I will quickly describe the REST enhancements very quickly. Of course, we will keep working on improving usability and cross-platform things like performance, model editor, designers. For example, if you remember our roadmap survey, we asked about the most popular scenarios, and we hope to implement some of them in our solution wizard. For example, we want to make it possible to quickly create applications that use security module and that require Microsoft, Google, or any other external authentication providers. We also want to make it easier for users to create WinForms and Blazor .NET 5 applications at the same time, because as you know, currently we have only 2 separate project templates for this. We also want to automate scenarios like when developers want to connect to multiple databases at runtime, and also scenarios when developers want to expose their XAF application data API, some logic to external apps, for example, custom mobile apps or services.
Hey, Dennis. Someone in the chat is asking if you can increase the size of the browser just a little bit, that the letter is too small for them.
Yeah. Thank you. And the last feature is my favorite one. It's all about usability. It helps developers to create filters easier. As you know, we have criteria operator API that allows you to build criteria from strings. Also, it allows you to build filters from strongly typed API using name-off and some other features, but it's less convenient than using LinkQ. And this new API, we added new method from Lambda. It allows you to create strongly typed or type-safe criteria using LinkQ. For example, here you can see a simple example. Here we have a comparison. We want to compare name with some custom string, and this is basically text. And using this new method, you can create a LinkQ expression and it doesn't matter how you change your date property name further, you will always have up-to-date filter. So it's impossible to break, unlike text. Here you can see a lot of examples, more complex examples, but I hope you understand the main idea. For XAF developers, it will especially help them create security permissions in code. Let me show you some example. Here you can see an object permission. Let me also increase, sorry. Here you can see add object permission method that allows you to create some security permission, and it accepts a string filter. And here you can now, in 21.1, you can use link view expression. Okay, I think that's it. Maybe.
Nice, nice. I didn't want to interrupt, but I have a lot of things that I want to add. And also, Dennis, please check the chat. There are a few questions for you there. But I will say my favorites, and then Jose, you can expand, or Dave, or anyone from the community. I would love to hear their opinions. Criterio operator from Lambda, that's so nice. That's so neat. That's, again, I love that one. The net 5 that we can do CSS isolation, that's also a really big thing that I have been waiting for. We have a lot of Blazor components, so it would be really nice to have the CSS right beside that component. Action container view item. So we have tried to put the action inside the little view, following the same approach that we use on Windows and web, and now to be able to do it again in Blazor, that's amazing. Dashboard, scheduler, those are modules that a lot of people already want, and even if we could integrate it, that comes out of the box is really nice, because now we can save that dashboard definition in the database. Before, if you want to do that, you have to go yourself to the database, create the table, create the query to save that, and then retrieve the XML. Localization, it has been asked a lot of time. A lot of people is asking. That's a big one that everyone needs. So I don't know you guys, but I'm really excited by the future, by the roadmap. I would love to hear from Jose, Dave, the community. Adam in the chat already said he's really excited for that criteria operator from Lambda. So kudos to the roadmap.
Thank you, Jose.